What's different about House Republicans and this panel is House Republicans are basically worried about facing voters and covering up for and and I feel like it's so sad to say this, but the people on this panel are not worried about covering up for
Here's what this actually is.
You're sitting here running interference for not getting the information out.
Let's jump into this clip from the Abby Phillips show where the Republicans at the table get pushed into an impossible corner, trying to explain why the Epstein files should stay buried.
A changing tide in the Republican Party, perhaps or absolutely. Remember, Donald Trump and his Justice Department have resisted releasing the Epstein files, but now that Epstein's emails mentioning the president have surfaced, Republicans are bracing for mass defections in the upcoming vote. This is months and months and months and months. Does it feel inevitable now that this, one, the vote will happen, and two, the Justice Department will release the files, Joe?
Well, I mean, the vote will happen, right? I think that's inevitable. That's happening. The House is going to vote on it. I think the House passes it. I think enough Republicans defect. That part's not in question. What does the Senate do is kind of the next question. What does the president do? Does he veto any legislation? Those are the kind of things that are still a TBD, right? We don't know how that would...
Do you think it's possible for the president to veto this legislation?
I think it'll be very hard. The reality is this really has the remnants of the Russia collusion scandal, in my opinion, right? It's the same thing. It's a distraction. It's an attempt of the Democratic Party to distract the president in an otherwise successful opening first year. That's what's happening. The reality, though, is that if you look at the Russia collusion, if you think back to the Russia collusion, the complexity, they had to get MI6 to make some fake dossier and get everyone riled up about that. Now they just redacted the woman's name who actually said that Trump didn't do anything wrong. This is embarrassing. This is an embarrassing PR stunt by the Democrats to try to distract from the shutdown that's now ended. They're trying to move on to something else. Epstein is a sexy topic. We all talk about it in our private lives. We talk about it at the water cooler. Democrats know that media will repeat every talking point they spew out there.
I'm sorry.
And here we are.
I'm sorry. What's embarrassing, honestly, is sitting around covering up for child trafficking. It's not the Democrats who made up child trafficking. It's not the Democrats who made up Jeffrey Epstein as a prosecuted child trafficker. It is the reality of the situation. And honestly, the reason why everyone is suspicious about Donald Trump is because he's acting suspicious. It's came out that his name was in the Epstein files, and then he had his own personal lawyer go negotiate the deal with Ghislaine Maxwell, who went from high security prison to basically summer camp. And I am so sorry. No. I'm so sorry. Let me just
Epstein's
finish.
email.
Literally, the Epstein emails say, I can take down Donald Trump. Now, why would he be able to take down Donald Trump unless Donald Trump knows something?
Because he's a bad person who can very easily use that kind of notoriety to take on
He's also a
someone.
BS artist. Jeffrey Epstein was a notorious BS artist, but that's not the point. The point here is, why are we pretending as if these documents might actually get released by the Department of Justice?
You really think it's never?
No way,
Why?
no chance.
Why do you say that?
Why? Because now...
Because then he's guilty.
No,
then
no,
you're
no, no,
admitting Donald Trump is guilty.
I'm talking about
why
the politics.
Would they not,
you want to hear? I'll explain. It's
Sure.
not complicated. It's really simple. The Senate is either not going to take it up, and B, the notion that Trump won't veto this? Since when is Donald Trump afraid of taking a political hit? The idea that Donald Trump will see this on his desk and say, well, this is just too sensitive politically. I can't veto this.
They might have a, veto-proof majority.
They don't have a. We know they don't have a veto-proof majority. Let's not. Why are we pretending this is real? There's no chance. There's zero chance.
Here's the one real thing that we all. There are victims here that have been shouting for
but it's
years.
not going to
give a damn about the victims.
It's not going to happen.
I actually think this fatalism, saying Trump will just absolutely veto, is actually an excuse for him. If he vetoes legislation, bipartisan legislation, and I have to say, if there is a vote in the House in which 100 House Republicans or 50 House Republicans vote for it, I want to say to every Republican senator, those victims will be dogging you every day, as will the American people. And they don't care. John Thune wants to stop. But look, it's getting results. There's a discharge petition, and Republicans are going to end up voting for it. That is getting results. And if Donald Trump vetoes this legislation, then he might as well just say,
I don't even know if
guilty.
he'll make it out of the
Everyone
Senate,
will
by the way.
know
So the
we'll send
context-
him. I
the
think that's
context-
Nobody cares, though. That's what I'm saying.
context
They
is
don't. Of course
That's the
they do.
unfortunate part. So
And it's not true.
Nobody cares what do you mean?
Nobody cares if Donald Trump vetoes it. To Dan's point, he doesn't give a damn about somebody saying, "Oh my God, you vetoed it. I can't believe you vetoed."
The
He has no
Republicans
problem
just got
taking a
crushed
political
last
hit.
week. Keep going.
What I'm saying, they don't.
Republican Party go off
We're
the-
not.
Yeah, this issue did not come up
let me
once during the
let me
election,
be
though.
clear.
Let's be clear about that.
Oh, let me
no,
be
it
clear.
did not
Oh my
come
God.
Let me be clear. It's
Wait,
the
wait,
right
wait.
thing
Let's
to
have
do
a-
to release the files. I want to be clear about that.
Yes.
It's the right thing to do. Donald Trump doesn't care about the right thing to do. So to deal with the reality of where we are, if Democrats are, if they want to use this for their message and say, look, he didn't veto it, he vetoed it, I just don't think that's going to move his voters. This man said he can stand in New York and kill somebody and there will be no consequence. And Republicans have proven
I think this is
the
totally-
argument
I don't
that
think it matters at all. He's a convicted felon. They don't care what he does.
The argument that Donald Trump doesn't care about this issue
He doesn't.
is absolute nonsense because he was the one who brought this up in the first place.
Until
What
his
he
stuff-
did,
until he got
however,
called
he
in.
got put
Right.
into a position where he did not realize that there were going to be bad faith Democrats who were going to take emails
That's the interesting
completely
thing,
out
though.
of context, which
God.
you guys have.
No, this isn't out of context. The problem is that for the first time, we finally have context, and Trump is acting like a man who knows exactly what's still in those files.
It was
This
all fun and
entire
games until he
time,
was
the way to
every
get it-
single time.
The way
That's
to-
hilarious.
I agree. So the reason why I'm saying he's in a little bit of a tricky position, by putting all this stuff out there, he knows that he's going to be cleared. But he also knows that Democrats are not going to say, well, let's all go through 20, 30,000
Why
different
do you
emails.
think
actually
he's
are.
going to
But
get
they're not.
cleared?
Has anyone at
Why
this
is he
table looked
going
at more
to
than a
lower-
few emails?
Well, you know what's
Has
great?
anyone at
Then
this
you
table
get
looked
to-
at more?
Yes, I
CNN
looked
did.
at hundreds of emails. I don't know why you haven't.
So you've got the evidence that suggests that Donald Trump did something wrong.
No, but the emails are embarrassing for him, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Not
no,
from
no,
an
no, no.
opposite
But embarrassing
perspective.
now and getting to move on to
we have
it,
to
move on
correct
from
the
it later.
These are
is
not
an
all
important
We have to
emails.
correct
These
it.
are
The
not
only
emails.
email that
There are
Jeffrey
more
Epstein
emails.
wrote that came out today that mentioned Donald Trump actually said that Donald Trump knew about the girls that Ghislaine Maxwell was recruiting at Mar-a-Lago and told her to
That's
stop
not
it.
the only
That
email.
backs up what he's been saying.
That's not the only
He
email.
has
He's
pushed it out.
mentioned and
Okay, well,
also there's
the
another
thousands
email.
of times
Yeah.
point is
Yeah.
really, but this is an important piece. Thousands of times. I looked up 5 emails just at random, looking up his name. Some of them were links to articles and
Yeah.
his name was in the title.
A lot of them
But what we
it's
say
not-
thousands
not
of
thousands,
times.
as in like
He
they're talking about
literally-
Donald
I'm
Trump.
responding
But the point
to
is,
the point
message
of one
that
Hang on,
time.
hang on.
said,
Because
the email that he
people-
mentioned
He
Trump,
literally
it was an exoneration
no,
of Trump.
It wasn't exoneration. He literally
He
says,
stopped Ghislaine Maxwell.
I have information that can take him down. That is in the
So why won't they release him?
In
Sure.
2011,
If it's
in
exonerated-
2017, he said,
Here's
yes, he knew
here's
about the
what's
girls
changing,
and he
though.
kicked
So why
Ghislaine
won't they
Maxwell
release
out.
him? So why won't they
Because
release
they
him?
would be taken
Have
out.
transparency.
No, they're not
Release
going to
all the
release.
emails.
Here's the
Release
change.
the
The
emails.
change is it doesn't matter what we're saying here. Republicans there is a change amongst House Republicans especially. There is a shift here. They are
Absolutely.
moving away from Trump doesn't want this out,
Yes.
very clear. But then you have let me just play Thomas Massey because Thomas Massey, Republican, hates Donald
Face of the
Trump.
Republican Party.
I would definitely say he's not. He specifically had a message for Republicans about what this means to you, Republicans, on this very moment. Let me play this for you guys.
The deal for Republicans on this vote is that Trump will protect you if you vote the wrong way. In other words, if you vote to cover up for pedophiles, you've got cover in a Republican primary. But I would remind my colleagues that this vote is going to be on your record for longer than Trump is going to be president. And what are you going to do in 2028 and 2030 when you're in a debate, either with a Republican or a Democrat, and they say, how can we trust you? You covered up for a pedophile back in 2025.
Do you think that's not real? Do you not?
No,
take
I
that
think
seriously?
that. So here's the deal: the polling is rather interesting on this. On the one hand, you have people who say this is being mishandled by the Trump administration. That polling is very clear. But the polling also suggests about 20% are actually paying close attention to this. Yeah. And that's the issue for Donald Trump and Republicans in general. It's a double-edged sword. Again, you can put all this information out. No one is going through all of the details.
Sorry.
The idea that nobody cares is political fantasy. This is precisely the kind of issue where broad but quiet public support explodes the moment that lawmakers are forced to take a on-the-record vote.
Are you saying this is actually better for for Democrats to have it not ever come out.
Democrats are in a way better strategic position to hope that this never comes out because they can continue to lie
don't
about
think
what's
that's
in
true.
it.
It's not strategy. We just want the information.
No,
out.
if you
And can I
wanted
just
it,
say
you would have
what's
put it out over the
Republicans-
last 4 years, and you know
no,
it.
but no,
You know it.
no, because
Yes.
Garland would not. I
No,
actually know
I've
about
heard
this.
you
Garland
argue
would
that
not
before. Yes,
do
Garland
this.
doesn't want to do
Okay,
anything
whatever.
that
Well,
might
let's get-
upset
also,
Republicans.
if the information is exonerating, put it out. So here's
If
the thing.
the
What's different about
information was
what's
condemning
different
him,
about
they
the
put it
House
out.
Republicans? What's different about House Republicans and this panel is House Republicans are basically worried about facing voters and covering up for. And and I feel like it's so sad to say this, but the people on this panel are not worried about covering up for.
Here's what this actually
You're
is.
sitting here running interference
Mira,
for not getting the information out with a
respect,
lot of.
what
like,
this is
saying
actually
this or
about
that.
time I
is
covered
not
up the pedophilia.
defending
I just
people
wanted
Why don't
to
you
who are
just say it? It should
pedophiles.
all be out.
I don't
Everything
remember.
should all be
remember
out.
that
have been
clip.
saying. So here's the clip. Let's be clear about this. Republicans have been saying for the longest time that we should absolutely put it out.
Then put it
they
out.
saw the
Department of
Democrats
Justice
who all of
put
a
it out.
sudden started to talk
But
about
this is
this.
ridiculous.
And I would ask, do you
If it's
feel bad?
exonerating-
I'm sorry.
if
Hold
it's
on. Do you feel
exonerating,
bad?
put it out.
This is a story that is accelerating so fast. Every day, it seems like it's a completely new frontier with all new rules, and the politics are shifting underneath our feet. There's already a visible backlash inside the GOP caucus, and the process has moved from no vote to forced vote to now fast track that vote. The trajectory makes near attendance point so accurate. Saying that Trump will just veto it is just an excuse to avoid confronting what's actually happening. Don't you think? Let me know in the comments if you have anything to say. Like this video if you made it this far, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.